Galleries and exhibitions are spaces and places that enable us to encounter art. Opening nights are seamless and at times magic. But how does this happen? Step back from opening night and experience the creative process of art in reverse.
I'm always hoping that the gallery context will even enhance work more, but that's what I'm sort of, there are quite often nice surprises.
Marion is a Sydney-based artist, often described as a painter. Yet her work over the past 10 years has involved the sculptural, the miniature to the astronomical.
What I want to achieve with this exhibition is to have a sense of light and to have a sense of how light bounces around and creates your sense of space. This will be quite a change from previous exhibitions. Previous exhibitions have been about red and black as a very emotional, thematic palette. And this one is pared back as well, perhaps even more pared back. I planned it to do such and such a thing in a particular space.
Well, you've got to take this around first.
Okay.
This is your show, so you tell us.
The books are like, to me, they're like vessels. They carry the meaning. They carry the hidden language. Imagine that we're sifting through another time and finding something that we don't really know what it was about. This is more like a musical score here, and that's sort of like a clef. The books themselves are just really flea market books, valuable books. I found it too sacrilegious to cut into them. I just couldn't do it. Very minimal sculptural pieces where I play with the back of the work, and I started to use another plane. Doesn't reflect shadow in the black, so you don't know where it is in there. I know that Anish Kapoor has used this too, not in this way, but you can't sort of see that or estimate that depth. It mixes sort of cell, sometimes eye, sometimes botanical. It just mixes that together to find a very unique, very individual image. And what do we're going to walk. Right?
Yeah, I'm just thinking there's quite a bit of it.
This show will have taken all up around about a year. It's all about deadlines, but multitasking and organisation of time is probably the most critical aspect of running a workshop or a studio like this. And you might think that that is kind of incongruous to the nature of creating, but creativity happens in another part of the brain, for me. Once the concept is in place, it's like working backwards step by step to get the right dimensions so that it's going to work out exactly how you envisage it. Flip them. So the intensity of the colour is high when you walk in, and it becomes pale when you approach it from the other direction. First works I conceived of were just simple circular pieces, and that gave me the sense of the light that they transmitted that I wanted to work with. And step by step they've become more complex. That looks really good to me. Sort of where the tip of your nose touches the wall. Yeah. Stand up on that, Don, and let's see. Anyway, I think that's good if we leave it as it is. If we move it, that is not good.
Can be quite challenging, frustrating. You know she's got this idea she wants to get out, and you want to get it out for her, and sometimes it can prove to be a real challenge. Sometimes things just all fall together and it's a breeze. I found that we really got on well together, and there's this support. And the interesting parts about her work is sort of based on what I like to do. Is I like to be involved in creativity of my own as well as helping other people, and we seem to work out this communication where we could help each other out.
They're beautiful, Don, and we need to straighten a couple of them.
Yeah.
They look smaller here than they do in the studio. Isn't that true? It reflects all the other colours in a room. Yeah, actually, could you do that? Yep, I've got the pen. It's legible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm interested in natural phenomenological things such as light and such as lunar orbits and sequences, solar system phenomena, galactic kind of forces. These are the big things. I'm also interested in the microcosm too. I think it's sort of natural phenomena that really interests me, and how you kind of work with that. I can work with that within the sculptural mode, within painting, within installation, but it's also the essence of materials, how materials speak to you. The others are very high, but I like it. But do you think it's sensible?
Yeah.
Oh, good, okay.
No, I think it's great. It's really beautiful.
What I use to describe these pieces is that they have an ever-changing nature. They're really only still as far as you're still. And for every kind of degree of movement you affect or you change, the image in front of you changes. So this is a different process, completely. This is a process where if I make a mistake or if I do something I don't like, I can just go over it. It's so much more relaxing. But because these are on wax, on beeswax, and they've got an image underneath the beeswax that I don't want to lose, I just want to work really, really with the lightest of touch. This is more associated with work that I've done from previous years, that this is a kind of link, this work, to link with the other series I was just working on. But what these are about are little symbols that are kind of language and nature-based symbols. And the others are about iconic shapes. But these symbols in them also have sort of iconic basic shapes to them. The circle, the oval, the nautilus. So they're really fundamental shapes too. Fundamental things about language and symbolism. You know, there's quite a cerebral aspect to my work, rather than being emotional. So what I have happening right now is the show that's going to be mounted in a week, and I'm nearly together about it. I've got a few things to finish, and I'm sure I'm going to be really burning the midnight oil. But I'm also working on finishing the JP Morgan Chase. It's quite full on in relation to time management and organisation. And I'm not only organising myself, I'm organising teams of other people. what happens is that when an artist takes on a commission that might be of a bigger scale or more unusual in its nature, and they have to work with industry, it seems to be inevitable that there isn't the industrial process set up or already in place to be able to deliver to the artist that which they're seeking. So consequently, it's a learning process. It does set new benchmarks for everyone. That's happening all the time with artists and various manufacturers. What materials you choose to use for a particular site or a particular project and the materials chosen determine how you'll approach the end result. And it will have very harsh light on it in the morning, and then the light disappears as the sun goes over the west. The pieces to sit in this balcony to be highly radiant, and they will reflect light onto the windows and the glass. From the foyer you can see everything. A lot of high-rise, ugly buildings, but that's what makes a CBD. It's the lunar phases of half a month, 16 motions from full moon to new moon. Artists have to think off the beaten track. They have to think in ways that aren't mainstream and run-of-the-mill.